Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Entrepreneurial Mindset. Get your company started with your minimum viable product. This is our next chapter. So what is the minimum viable product? Let's take the situation you would like to build an outdoor tool. And basically done is always better than perfect. It might happen that at the very end, this is the outdoor tool you're selling. However, if you start your business, you have to find yourself into that business. And you have to find out which of the features are being appreciated and which are not being appreciated. And whether someone wants to carry that outdoor tool. This is a perfect tool, I guess. I mean, it might be a little too heavy, but it's perfect because it can do everything. But there might be people who are fine with that small tool set. And that's the main question you start asking yourself at the very beginning. So what you're doing is you start with the hypothesis before you even build the product. So some of the hypotheses or some of the questions you might have are, will anybody use an outdoor multi-tool, which is the value question. Will anybody pay for an outdoor multi-tool, which is actually bringing something on the market and find real actual customers, not only your friends who are nice to you and by that buying your product. And you also might ask yourself, one step further, is a corkscrew an appreciated feature? So how do you start with that business? You start having hypotheses for outdoor tools, and especially for the question, what is needed if you go outdoor? So which is the necessary tool set? And then you can build your minimum viable product on that. You would like to learn as fast as possible, so what you do is you build your first small outdoor tool. And maybe you compare it against something which doesn't have a corkscrew. And you put both into your shop or wherever you sell that. So the first idea is to generate feedback for one hypothesis. And the one hypothesis is the difference in corkscrew. So is someone willing to pay for a corkscrew? And maybe you can also play around, how much are they willing to pay for a corkscrew? And is someone basically buying that? I know many people are saying that this concept was developed for websites and it really works out with websites. And this is true. But it also works for real products. And there are a couple examples where the minimum viable product approach is used for real products. And this is one of the products. Maybe this is oversimplifying the idea because this is just a knife and everybody has a knife. However, this is the way you try to work yourself into that business. Basically, it's important in that first step to get feedback for only one hypothesis. And this is why you start really small and you try to have a build, measure, learn cycle which is really minimal, and then you can start the next build, measure, learn cycle over and over again. And this is how you work yourself into the market. I know many people say this is not working out with products, this is not working out really. They are afraid of competition, because if you start with the minimum viable website, for example, everybody sees what you're planning to do. And the competition could do the same. But if you're ahead in learning, you will always be better than them. People say we lose our brand value when we go into the market with only a minimum viable product, because that product might not look good enough, might not reflect what you think your brand should reflect. Well, again, if you start with the early adopters, and this is only a small group of people, I mean, these are the people who always try something new, and they will try the next thing and the next thing, and this is not the majority of the customers, You can do that because they are used to having new things which might not work out properly and look at them, give feedback and all sorts of things. So you don't have to be afraid that your brand is being affected by that. You build your brand over time with the big majority of customers, not with the early adopters. And you might have legal fears because if your product does harm, you always have to think about that, but with a website it couldn't, and even in that example, corkscrew or no corkscrew, this is not really a legal issue. So this is how you start in the first step with the so-called minimum viable product. Main takeaway is you need to have your hypothesis. Hypothesis really has to be easy, that you can measure and get data on this hypothesis, and then your minimum viable product has to follow the hypothesis. And only if you do that, you're learning something, and then you should be willing to commit more affordable loss. This is how entrepreneurs step into markets. They commit an affordable loss. They start with the minimum viable product. When they see a positive learning effect, then they are willing to commit the next affordable loss. If they don't see a positive impact, they might stop their business, and this is why they are also more successful in stopping businesses and losing less money than others.